This is the last game we're getting for a long while. Hang out with your friends, watch the game, orient your bets and your mindset and everything you're doing on that day towards maximizing the amount of fun you're having, because the Super Bowl is a celebration.
I bet my life I'm a Diceshaker. Electric lights on a skyscraper.
Welcome to the Diceshaker podcast. My name is Jordan Brown. I am the host of the Diceshaker podcast. With me, as always, the man behind the scenes, not really behind the scenes anymore, but Tyler Hartley is here as always. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. I apologize for the for us being MIA. That is on me.
But we came back better. We are back. We are back in a new recording space that Tyler has worked very hard to put together. We're very excited about it. And there should be no more breaks. There should be no more interruptions. We're going to take you guys all the way through the off season and into next season and keep going and going and going and going and going. So rate, subscribe, like it, tell your friends, all that stuff. Diceshaker is back. Hashtag Diceshaker back. Now, it is Super Bowl week. Today is the Tuesday of Super Bowl week, February 4th. So media day is already over. Kind of all the circus of Super Bowl stuff is pretty much done. Like, the teams are going to be into practice today. You're right. They'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. But they're kind of into their normal stuff. The media days are over. So now is the time to talk about the game from a gambling perspective. Now, first, we want to do a little bit of a big picture thing. For those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, thank you, first of all. For those of you who are new, this is for you. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, and I told you all it was going to happen. We sat, not in this room, the old room, sat behind this microphone back in August, went down. I said the Chiefs are in a higher tier of team. They have transcended to a place that very few organizations and teams have gotten to, and that stayed consistent throughout the entire year. A lot of people did a lot of silly things with the Chiefs over the past 4 or 5 months or so when they were winning the one-score games and they didn't look good, and it doesn't look like the old Chiefs, and people we need things to talk. Listen, there's two levels to it, right? There's people who were just casual fans and don't pay deep attention to this stuff, and they were just looking at what it looked like on the surface, and on the surface it just looked like, they barely win every week. Like, how can they be good? Don't have a problem with those people. Just don't know what you're looking at. There's other people who know what they're talking about and understand that their jobs or their livelihood are tied to, like, clicks and attention. And so they, regardless of what they actually believe, maybe they talked themselves into it, maybe they didn't, they were just lying through their teeth, but just coming out and saying, like I did from the beginning consistently, that, hey, the team that's won the last 2 times is going to win again. That's a very exciting thing to say. That's not right. If I work for SB Nation, or if I work for even someone like, the Ringer or something like that, where it's like you're trying to get clicks on, you're not just going to come out and say, the Chiefs, probably the Chiefs again. That's not good for business. So that's fine. So that's, again, don't love that people integrity, understand the job is job. Then there's just a bunch of dummies who are just blinded by, like, Chiefs, Mahomes, Taylor Swift hatred, and just can't fathom that what's happening is happening. And they just allowed themselves to see things that weren't there and convince themselves of dumb takes. And all I did to correctly call this of the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. Listen, I said the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. They haven't won it yet, but I'm very confident they're going to win. The only thing I did to make that happen was pick the best team to be the best team. That's all it took. I went to the odds board at the beginning of the year, saw the team that was the favorite, and went, yep, that makes sense. That's really all it took. And again, it really just came from understanding that the Chiefs have gotten to a point that in my lifetime only the Patriots have gotten to. Older people maybe argue that the Cowboys in the 90s, the Niners in the 80s, the Steelers in the 70s, maybe those teams got there. But to the point where, like, the individual games did not matter to the Chiefs. They still managed to win them, which is insane, and why this team is like I said, we're in a situation where the Chiefs have a chance to be maybe the best team of all time, certainly the best run of all time if they win 3 in a row, and everybody just spent the whole year saying they sucked. Mm-hmm. So that's an easy environment to be right in if you just have your integrity and you just, and I said it multiple times. I think I don't want the Chiefs to win. That's not what was at the beginning of the year.
Nobody wants it.
Now it is. Now it's like the
Well, now
story
you
that
got money on it too, right?
Well,
is it because of the money?
So we didn't even talk about that.
We'll get it. Well, everyone knows. Though.
I did.
Everyone
Future of the year plus 550 on the Chiefs after they lost to the Bills in the regular season. I did do it. I did place it. So that is what I have going into the game on Sunday in terms of like serious bets.
We're buying a car with that.
Chiefs plus 550. We're doing okay. The car was if Oregon won the national championship too. We needed both. We needed both for the car. Right. We needed both for the car. But honestly, the money's not even like again. I've said this many times about how I gamble, but like the money is great. It's not ultimately like I'm excited to be right. Yep. I'm just excited. Again, I said this from August that this is what's going to happen, and I've never wavered at any point. And honestly, it's the easiest thing to be right about because of what we said. The favorite, like I only had to worry about one game. It was just the Bills game. That was it.
Yeah.
It was the only game all year that I had any sort of concern about. Now, the Super Bowl, I have some concern. They could lose 2, and we'll get into that in a second. But the entire time I was chilling. So that's what it is. The Chiefs are there. The Eagles are back. It is a rematch of 2 years ago. Really, if you want to get specific about it, really it's the third straight Super Bowl of the same teams. I understand last year was the Niners.
But kind of the same thing.
2 years ago, Eagles. Last year's Niners. This year's Eagles are all essentially the same thing. And it's the super team without the quarterback. And now, whatever you want to say about Jalen Hurts, you like him, you don't. What I'm talking about is you have a matchup of two teams in the Super Bowl where one team is bigger, stronger, and faster at every position than the other team. And the other team is the Chiefs.
Yep.
And that's an issue, right? And now we've seen how this has gone, obviously. 2 years ago, the pass interference, Bradbury did not do it, and then overtime last year with the Chiefs winning. And I feel about this game, might as well just get into we're going to talk about the Super Bowl seriously for a minute as a football game, but overarchingly, this podcast is a celebration because the Super Bowl is a celebration, okay? There is only one football game left. We have to wait 6 months or more for the next one for college football to start again. So this is a celebration. We need to enjoy the Super Bowl. We need to embrace the Super Bowl. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the game on its face. We're going to go through a bunch of prop bets that we like, good ones, silly ones, just ones that are in the spirit of celebrating the Super Bowl and maximizing that 5 or so hours of, from the pregame through to the end of the game of the last football that we get. And just being, just thankful to the gambling gods and that we're able to do this and enjoy the game that we love. So, from a football perspective, it's a 1.5 point spread. It's tight. Wouldn't shock me if the game is going to be tight. But also, that makes me feel confident in the Chiefs. Because I feel like the Chiefs are at a point. Mahomes is so in control of the game. Their coaches are so in control of the game. That if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, you just have to feel like the Chiefs are going to win that. Very similar to last week against the Bills. I said the Bills had to win last week by 2 scores. I feel like the Eagles have to win by 2 scores again. Just because if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter and Mahomes gets the ball, you have to assume he's going to score. Right? And so good evidence of why this is the case and why you should feel great about the Chiefs going in this. And listen, there's not a lot of value anymore in betting the Chiefs at this point. I think they're going to win, so take them. There's always value in a winner, but the value is in the future. If you were going to bet this, you should have did it when I did it, plus 550. That was the value on this bet. It's the Super Bowl, it gets covered to hell. There's not a lot of edges here. The reason why I'm confident in the Chiefs. So when they played the Bills, right? You remember the game? Everybody talks about that 4th down, right? That Allen didn't get or got, maybe didn't get, whatever. It goes the other way. Huge pivotal moment in the game, right? Game kind of hinges on that moment, right? Because then the Chiefs go down and score, and then that kind of ends it. Nobody talks about the 4th down that happened before that when the Chiefs had the ball. It was in the third quarter. The Bills had just scored twice to erase the deficit, right? They were down by 2 scores. They scored twice. Now it's 22-21. So they've scored 2 times in a row. They kick the ball to the Chiefs. The Chiefs quickly go through 3 downs. It's now 4th and about 1.5 yards from their own 33. There are now 3 outcomes that can happen in that scenario. 2 of them are awful for the Chiefs, right? Option 1 is punt, and now you just gave up 2 straight touchdowns. You were 3 and out, and now the likelihood that the Bills are going to get the ball, and the next time you touch it, you're going to be down 8 to 9 points, very high. Option 2 is even worse than that, because option 2 is go for it, don't get it. Now it's all that too, except they have the ball at the 33.
Yep.
So it's all that, but worse. Option 3 is you get it. when the Bills had that scenario and needed to get the fourth down, they didn't execute the play properly, and it was a debate whether they got the first down or not. Ultimately went the other way. When the Chiefs had that situation, Mahomes doesn't sneak it. He boots around the edge. He gets like 8 yards.
Yep.
No sweat. Easy first down. Move down the field, essentially scored the game-winning touchdown from there. And so what does that point prove? That point proves that the Chiefs are in control the entire time. They are never in a situation, no matter what's going on. One, because their coaching staff is prepared. Reed is a fantastic coach. Defensively, Spagnuolo is very good. That fourth down, the very last fourth down for the Bills, where Allen does like the crazy run and like just throws it up to Kincaid or whatever.
Yeah.
Chiefs are in a perfect blitz there. They are going to be their coaching staff is going to put them in a position to have the right call. Even if they're in the wrong call, they have Superman who will make the play. And everybody on that roster understands, hey, we have Superman. And that allows them to play with a higher confidence in those moments. They are not going to there's no situation you can put the Chiefs in where they're going to be nervous or worried. They feel like they're going to win every time. And that's why the Eagles have to win this game by 2, which just makes me think that the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah.
Obviously said it's in August. Now, I want to talk about concerns. There are some concerns. No question there are some concerns. Number one concern, I don't know what's number one. It's like 1A, 1B, and it has to do with the trenches, as it usually does. In the divisional round, the Chiefs-Texans crammed it down the Chiefs' throat, ran the ball at will. I think Mixon had like 150 on the ground or something like that. That was alarming. That was the first time all year I was like, ooh, okay.
Very scary, especially going against the Eagles now, too.
Right. Right. Houston's offensive line is much different than the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles, excuse me. The Eagles have a historically good run game.
Yeah.
That offensive line is historically good just across the board. They have guys got like Juergens comes in to replace Kelsey after last year or after 2 years ago. He's excellent right away. Mekhi Becton, like they're all huge and super athletic, and just that ethos of we are bigger and stronger and faster. And then they have Saquon, who's a superhuman, and Jalen Hurts, who's crazy strong, and like it's all just built to punch you in the face over and over and over again, and then hit the explosive.
Yeah.
And we've seen that throughout the playoffs, right? Historic run for them, and it's fantastic. Honestly, the style of football I enjoy watching way more than I enjoy watching how the Chiefs play. So that's a concern if you're the Chiefs, because and so that's if you're the Eagles, and it's like, how do we win? It is run the ball, control the clock, don't let Mahomes touch it. Do not turn it over. Like they have to play perfectly to win the game. The fact that I do believe they are going to be able to run the ball. Listen, 2 weeks to prepare. Spags, the Chiefs DC has as much respect as anybody in the league. So if there's somebody out there who could game plan it up, then it would be him. I just don't think you can game plan for, hey, they're just bigger and stronger and faster than you in the run game. Like I just don't think there's much you can do there. And so I think the Eagles are going to be able to run the ball. Now, are they going to be able to get the stops on the other side? That's going to be up to the defensive line, right? If you want to look at the matchup on that side, it's the Eagles have one of, if not the best defensive line in football. And the Chiefs have had offensive line issues, especially on the tackles, for most of this year. Mahomes obviously had the freak out on Wanya Morris and got him replaced at one point halfway through the season. That is something I think the Chiefs can game plan for a little bit. They can figure out ways to slow down that rush. We'll talk about that a little bit in the props and how that works. But that's kind of, if you're an Eagles fan and what you're betting on, it's the same thing really that every team who's played the Chiefs has is you have to run the ball. You have to get to Mahomes, and you cannot turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You cannot give them possessions. You cannot waste opportunities to score. We'll see.
Well, that is a concern, like you're talking about, though. Are the Eagles going to turn the ball over, really? Jalen Hurts is liable to throw an interception. But like you said in the last game they played, they didn't give him an option to turn the ball over. They were just,
correct.
You know what I mean? Like, just run the ball. And if you are in trouble, throw it out of bounds or get out of bounds.
Correct. And that's where they work symbiotically, right? They work together. So in order for the offense to play the way they want to play as the Eagles, which is run the ball, take 0 chances, Jalen Hurts called it a straight jacket. Like, put the straight jacket on and don't let them do minimize your risk as much as you can. The only way you can play like that on offense is if your defense is getting stops, consistent stops, which means they have to get to Mahomes.
But that's not crazy to think they're going to get consistent stops in the Super Bowl game. It's going to be tight like that, right? Too. So it's like as if I'm an Eagles fan here too.
No, that's fine.
But I to play devil's advocate.
It's a 1.5 point game.
I do see there is a lot of windows where it's if, like you said before with the Lions, it's kind of similar with them now with the Eagles now. It's if everything goes right, this is a game where it's scary to see the Eagles go well.
Yeah, the Eagles are great. They can win. For sure they can win. For sure they can win. Mm-hmm. If you get a bad, and that's the thing, right? Is that, and we've said this along with the Chiefs. It's in order to beat the Chiefs, you need the offense to be bad, you need the defense to be bad, and then you also have to have Mahomes not do the crazy shit.
Yeah.
And so it's just very difficult. But the Eagles can absolutely do it if they play really well, and the Chiefs make mistakes. Mahomes makes mistakes. Listen, the only time we've seen Mahomes lose in the Super Bowl was 2020 against the Bucs, and they lit his ass up. That game, that was when the Chiefs kind of revamped their roster, and that was the beginning and the end of Tyreek and how they had to reinvest in the offensive line and the defense stuff. The Eagles' defensive line is good enough to do that. So if that's what it's going to be, just free run at Mahomes all day long, they can absolutely win the game because they can play that way. They just have to play a very specific way. Whereas the Chiefs can play that way. And if it's a slugfest and it's back and forth all game long, maybe it's tight, maybe it's a little scoring, and we get to the fourth quarter and it's a 1-point game. Oops. Yeah. Now it's Mahomes again.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, if you're the Eagles, you kind of have to win this game by 2 scores, and you kind of have to do it in 3 quarters.
You got to do it early. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
You got to get out in front early.
So listen, I think it'd be a good game. Yeah, I think it'd be good. I think the last 2 Super Bowls Chiefs played them in great games. They're going. I think it'll be good. It was remember 2 years ago when they played the Eagles, absolute light show. That game went over in the second quarter. I think.
Yep.
What was the score at half? Was like 24-14 a half or something like that. It was a lot of explosive plays in the last Super Bowl. I think there's a chance we could get that again. That's the other thing is in a dome too, that's the thing that matters a little bit. Is the Eagles been playing the way they've been playing, obviously, but they've been doing it in these cold weather games. The Chiefs playing in these cold weather games. Now we're in a dome, so it's AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, they matter a little more in these situations. So I think it will be an entertaining, fun game that will be tight in the fourth quarter. And so I'm not going to bet against Michael Jordan. Yeah, that's just the way that goes. Yeah. So that's it. So that's what the game is. Again, if people who are seriously betting the Super Bowl, you should already did it. Because once we get to this point, there hasn't been a game for 10 days now. There won't be another game, right? We have 2 weeks for this game. It's the most overanalyzed, over-scrutinized. There are no edges anywhere to be found on these books at this point. Maybe in some deep prop stuff. We'll get to a few of those that I think are actually decent plays. But the idea when you're watching the Super Bowl is that the Super Bowl is a celebration. This is supposed to be fun. This is the last game we're getting for a long while. Hang out with your friends. Watch the game. Orient your bets and your mindset and everything you're doing on that day towards maximizing the amount of fun you're having, because the Super Bowl is a celebration. All right, we'll be back in a minute. We're going to take a quick word from our sponsors here, and we'll be back to you guys with some prop picks. All right, just want to take a break to tell you guys about Wanna Parlay. Wanna Parlay is a new way to play daily fantasy sports. So for you people who like the prop bets, who like the parlays, this is for you. What it does is it allows you to build a parlay and compete against others to win money and prizes. So how you got to do it is you got to go to the App Store. You want to download the Wanna Parlay app. You're going to create an account. When you create the account, you want to enter the promo code DICE. That's DICE, DICE. That's going to get you a free deposit match up to $250 on your first deposit. From there, you just build your parlays, join groups, compete against others, get put on the leaderboard, win prizes, trips to NFL games, win money up to, I think, $2,000 on a $2 parlay you can win. So check them out. Wanna Parlay. Thank you. So Super Bowl week. Super Bowl is a celebration. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk prop bets. Now, you guys who have watched this show for a little while now, those of you who know me know, not a prop guy. Not how I bet the games. I don't look at individual players and matchups and things like that and try and exploit that way. I look at the game as a whole. The Super Bowl is the exception because, once again, the Super Bowl is a celebration and we need to maximize the amount of fun. So myself, my associate Tyler here, we have accumulated a list of prop bets that we like. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. All of them are designed to be fun. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth here, naming our favorite ones. I'm just going to start with the first bet of the day, the first bet of the game. Coin toss. I'm on tails.
Of course.
I'm on tails.
Yeah. Are you always a tails guy?
It does not fail.
It doesn't matter.
It does not fail.
Okay,
it does not fail.
I know you're a child about it.
It does not fail.
No problem. Okay, yeah, no, that's
you guys
fair,
will
right?
see the historical record that tails does not in fact fail.
Yeah.
It is minus 104 for tails. So I am on tails.
No problem.
An electric way to start the game.
Absolutely.
Absolute electricity
Also,
to
too,
start
if
the
you
game.
lose it doesn't fuck. So who cares, right? It's nothing bad.
We gotta win the coin toss.
Yeah,
We can't. We gotta win.
You want to start off good.
Yeah. You don't want to lose.
If you so if you lose the coin toss, do you get a little more nervous with the KC bet now?
If I lose the coin toss?
Yeah.
No.
Does this get the juices flowing a little bit?
No, but then I got to win my. We'll talk. Then I got to win my next bet after that.
Okay.
But no, I will say when I used to play football, when I was playing football, play college football, not a big deal. Look it up.
It's like a Canadian university.
Google it. It's there. You can find it. If our team was really, really bad, so if we lost the coin toss, I would be like, yeah, here we go. That's how it starts.
Were you ever a captaincy? Like, did you get to go out and do it?
Hell no, not in college. High school.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I was never that good.
High school sick.
Yeah, no, I'd be on the sidelines, and just like not playing, and we'd lose the coin toss, and I'd just go to some other guy with a play like, we're fucked. Well, we get drunk in 3 hours.
Yeah, bad start. All right. Yeah. All right.
So here we go. So I'm on the opening coin toss tails.
That's okay. That's fun.
All
That's
right,
good. Good
Tyler,
start.
do you have one?
Yeah, honestly, kind of like hitting off to what you were just talking about with like the run game and stuff like that. This is a Swifty special I found here. I was going through the Swifty specials. This one is Saquon Barkley plus 20 yards. It's called, what is it called actually on this one? I forget what the name of it. It's like all like Taylor Swift like song names or whatever.
Yeah. She might be there. Not sure.
Yeah. There's one though. It's Saquon Barkley plus 20 yards in each quarter.
I saw that.
It kind of depends on who you're going to bet, I think. But
Yeah.
if you really believe the Eagles are going to win,
the Eagles, that
is a 100% bet you're going to put on with that. Because like he has
to
do that.
Even as the Chiefs, I like it.
Even the Chiefs.
The only thing I'd be concerned with is the fourth quarter if the Chiefs are up $1 million and they're just not running the ball.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
and because he's not going to get any passing. There's another prop I saw, which is like another suckers one where it was like a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown. You lose on the passing touchdown, pretty much for sure.
Sure.
On that, and that one's at plus 350. I think that's probably the best bang for your buck.
Look at Tyler giving you guys an actual serious football bet.
That was honestly in the Swifty section of all sections too.
For my next bet, I will be betting on nobody to cry during the national anthem. That is plus 450. I think that's maybe the best value on the board.
Nobody to cry.
Nobody to cry. It's because
nobody to cry that they catch on camera, right?
Correct.
Yes,
but and it's because Sirianni cried 2 years ago. Right, like that's what this bet. That's why this
also shaved his head halfway through the season. You don't think he's gonna shed a fucking tear?
Well, he did. He cried during the Super Bowl during the national anthem, and they showed his face and he's crying. And then that was again maybe an omen for the Eagles.
It's like, it's not gonna be a repeat.
How can it?
That's
what
have
you
been
been doing for 2 years? He got absolutely roasted online after that, and they lost after everything, the whole disaster last year, the Baldiani shaving the head, all that stuff. Like, if there's one thing this man has to be promising himself in the mirror before he gets to the play, it's like, don't you fucking cry.
Don't fucking cry.
Don't you fucking cry. At plus 450? Listen, here's what I'm saying. I was just a direct message to Nick Sirianni. Vegas thinks you're going to cry, pussy. It's plus 450 to bet no. Vegas thinks you're a bitch, dude. They think they're going to make a bunch of money off you crying before the game. Go inside. Literally stay in the locker room if you have to.
I do like this bet in the sense of there's been research done on it, and you have some serious evidence to say he's not going to cry because
nobody else can cry.
His reputation is on the line with this. Too,
and nobody
they already got stomped.
Nobody the Chiefs is going to cry. They've been
that's true. It's not that emotional.
This is the first game they care about.
Saquon's not going to cry. He's not that kind of guy.
No, maybe after the game they're going to cry.
Jalen Hurts strikes me as a guy who might cry.
Not before the game. No, don't.
You don't think so?
Don't. The guy squats 600 pounds. There's no chance. There's no chance he's crying. There's no chance. I'd love that bet. I'd love plus 450. Nobody cries on camera during the national anthem.
Listen, it's a fun one. I'll probably tail you on that because it's going to be electric.
Sure. Bro, if they show Sirianni's dumb face with a tear rolling down his cheek and I lose my bet, I'm going to freak out. All right, so that's my next one. You got another one?
No, I don't have another one.
Not yet? Okay, I got another one. It's all right. We're going for it. Listen,
I'm going to do this on the fly, actually. I'm going to try to find some way to do it.
That's fine. We haven't even got to the opening kickoff yet.
We haven't.
Speaking of which, this one is the opening kickoff. So I have two opening kickoff bets. The first one is opening kickoff, no touchback. So just it gets returned. That's plus 168. That's electric. When the ball's in the air and you're like, don't fucking call. don't touch back, don't touch back, don't touch back, don't touch back. Now, is the fact that it's in a dome concern me? Absolutely. Is the fact that at this point, like 40% of NFL kickoffs are touchback concern me? Absolutely. But when you see that returner catch the ball and then just immediately move upfield and know you've cashed, that's electric.
That is sick. Yep.
That is electric.
Yeah,
now I've got another one to tie on to that. Opening kickoff returned for touchdown. Plus 17,000, 170 to 1. It is the largest odds bet that I think I've ever placed.
This is the dumbest bet I've heard you place, actually.
How? But imagine the memory. If you hit that bet, you'll remember where you were.
Keep remembering it's a celebration.
You'll
That's
remember.
Right, yes.
Super Bowl's a celebration.
Celebration, absolutely. This
I'm
going to
worry about losing plus 100. If I hit that bet, I will remember where I am. I will remember who I'm with.
Yep.
I will remember the things I ate. I will remember everything. That will be a core memory for the rest of my life. I will be on my deathbed, and there will be people being like, "Hey, like, is there any like wisdom you want to be like?"
Yeah.
Plus 1700 Super Bowl 59 opening kickoff touchdown. Like,
if you're watching a Super Bowl, bet it. That's actually fun though too, because if you're gonna bet the no touchback, you might as well give your chances else to.
Because imagine the escalation
going.
of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so
yes,
I'm just gonna paint this scenario. Number one, coin toss, tails, nailed it. Anthem cries, Sirianni, nowhere to be found, nailed it. Ball goes in the air. He starts the run back. Oh, great, we're having a great start. He breaks one. He breaks two. Oh my God, it's a hole. Oh my God, it's got a lane. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Touchdown. That is, I may go home at that point. Like,
it's just that's it. Honestly, if you win all that, if you I don't know,
that's a car.
I don't know what kind of plus money you're at that point, but yeah, that's insane.
That's a car. That I do not care about future of the year at that point.
Yeah. Okay. That fires me up. Actually, I started off down on that one. That fires me up. Though.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Okay. All right. So that's 4 of them. Have you found another one yet?
No, keep going.
Okay, go back to me. Let's see. Which one's this one's actually just a good football one. We'll give you guys a serious one here. Mahomes over rushing yards. It's at 39.5. This has been a fantastic value prop for a long time now, is Mahomes over the rushing in the playoffs. He does not run it all in the regular season, but obviously he will run in the playoffs. The books are on it a little bit. Like every number I've seen in the previous 2 games was like 22, and now it's up to 39. So obviously the books understand that people are hammering this. I just think that if what we talked about with the Eagles having to get to Mahomes to win the game, the thing with rushing the passer like that is they're probably going to do it with 4. And when they do it with 4, if you don't get to him, you create these like the step up and step out stuff that he likes to do. Where if you bring like if they're able to collapse his tackles, he can step up into the pocket and then just slide out to the right and he's gone. And they'll either be in man or they'll be in zone. Either one, those are the only 2 things you can play. But either way, there's going to be that cushion. It's like he gets like a free 10 yards like 3 times a game out of that. And so all we need to do is for him to break one of those or 2 of those for like 15, 20 yards, and this is going to hit at over 39.5. So that one's just a smart football one to bet.
Absolutely.
Again, better value. Like last week it was at 22.5. He cashed it in like the first quarter. Now it's up to 39.5, but I think just matchup wise and with the desperation that the Eagles are going to have to get to him, if that does not work, he's out the gate for rushing. So I like that one there, like 39.5.
Yep, keep going.
All right. What else do we got? I have Saquon first touchdown at plus 450. Terrible value for a first touchdown bet, except for the fact that, again, historical run game. They are going to look to lean on that early, and we saw in last week's game and even before that, like he has the potential to score from anywhere in the field. Like a 70-yard run, 75-yard run, 80-yard run is 100% possible. Especially in a game like the Super Bowl where it takes and again it will impact the Chiefs less because they've been here, but it takes usually a series or 2 for it to start to feel like a real football game again. Mm-hmm. The first ones are kind of janky a little bit, and sometimes that can just result in like 3 and outs, but that can also result in defenses not quite being in the right spot, and maybe we get an explosive there. So I like Saquon first touchdown at plus 450. We'll do another Eagles one. This one's good. Do you know what an octopus is in football? This is kind of a new term that's come out in the last little while. So an octopus is when the player scores the touchdown and then also scores the 2-point conversion. So he gets all 8 points.
Yeah, okay.
So I have Jalen Hurts to do that at plus 2,000.
That's not crazy at all.
That's not that bad.
That is a great value.
That's
for
not
that
bad.
Yeah.
Because the way, obviously, tush-push situations, I'm also just thinking about like if if they're down late and he, on the one and they have to go for two, like I just feel like there are going to be.
Why do you think that number's so high?
Well, it's just
not to cut you off.
It's just. Is
it that unlikely?
Well, because you have to factor in number one, he has to score the touchdown, then they have to make the decision to go for two, and then it has to be him that gets it. So it's.
I think you can almost look back on that in like any
He's done it before.
Situations that they've scored a touchdown.
He had it last time in the Super Bowl. He had an octopus.
I feel like he's probably had that this season though.
Oh sure, probably.
Like, so yeah,
probably. But it's just in the span of one game. Like if the Eagles are ahead the whole time, they're probably not going to ever go for two.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's like
But like you said, we don't think they're going to be ahead. So,
Now to that point, another great bet I like: any successful 2-point attempt in the game from either team plus 180. Just anybody goes for two and gets it. So if we get a false start on an extra point and they move it to the one, or if there's a situation where, they're trying to go up 11 or maybe they're down 11, they're trying to get it down to 3. Any team at any point in time gets a successful 2-point conversion. That's plus 180. I think that's great value.
Yeah, this is just one I'm just kind of finding right now, but I'm gonna bet on Travis Kelce for sure this game.
Yeah,
this
would you bet? What do you like?
Potentially his last game of the season.
Last game of his career, maybe.
Last game of his career. Obviously, I misspoke there, but yeah, 80 yards is plus 200. I'm gonna do that for sure. I don't think that's crazy at all to think that he's gonna have a monster game in his last game of his career.
Yeah,
he's gonna propose to Taylor Swift after if they win. Like what I mean? Like he's not gonna look like a bum doing this shit. So I think that's an easy one.
In the divisional round, the Eagles lost. Was it the wild card round? I forget. Nakobe Dean, one of their 2 starting linebackers. He's out. So that's helpful. That's helpful. To that end, I have Kelce to win the MVP at plus 1,800.
I just saw that one too, and I was getting like a high number, so I'm kind of scared of it. I'm like,
I just think
obviously has a high number, so tough, but
it's a high number, and it's obvious. Like, okay, so number one, the Chiefs have to win, okay, and then with the Chiefs winning, it has to not be Mahomes, right? Because that's who likely it would be.
Yeah,
and then it also needs to not be, hopefully Pacheco or somebody doesn't get like 3 touchdowns or something, Worthy or somebody like that. I think Kelce's the second most likely Chief to get it. And I think if it's close, they're going to give it to him because of the Taylor Swift thing, because of the retirement thing. Like I think that's just like this is a fan vote who decides this shit, So like, what are people going to vote for?
Yeah,
there's going to be a million Swifties voting.
Honestly, almost more than football fans. Potentially,
if Kelce catches 2 touchdowns and the Chiefs win, I think he's going to win the MVP.
Yeah,
right. And then I'm retiring. Maybe he does the proposal. I'm sure there's bets about that about whether he proposes.
I haven't
or
found
not.
any. I was looking at the Swifty chip, man, but I couldn't see it.
Out there. I'm not in that world enough to know what that situation is to bet it, and honestly, that's just not a fun thing to bet on. So,
I was hoping you could find one. Would she say yes or no? That would have been a fun.
1,000% would say yes.
What if she said no? If there was any gangster, there was any woman to turn him down,
it'd have to be like plus 100,000. Because this happened before, where like players of like there was a guy, it happened against Oklahoma. 07 Fiesta Bowl, we lost to Boise State.
I saw that, yeah.
And then the guy proposed to like his girlfriend.
She was like a cheerleader. Yeah.
Yep. She said yes right there, and then 2 days later said no.
See, this is what I'm saying. You should almost get like insurance on that bet. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think
she doesn't.
So I think they can't do it. So I think they can't do it. Yeah. So I was similar to your bet with having 20 yards in each quarter. I also have, I forgot I even had this on here, Saquon 50 plus yards in each half. Which is essentially the same bet. Actually, kind of a harder bet, but it's plus 175.
Way harder. Yeah.
Well, I just don't have to get it. I can have it where he can get all of it in one quarter and it still hits.
Well, no, he could also, because I'm assuming he's going to bust one essentially too. So the quarters is still hard too.
Right.
Yeah.
The quarters are hard because you have to get it in each quarter.
Yeah.
Right. If you get 40 in the third quarter and 0 in the fourth quarter, you lose.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where there's a little bit of an easier bet. But yeah, the potential to bust one. And again, I just think that is going to be the most reliable, successful thing that the Eagles can do offensively. The downside to that bet would be if they get down multiple scores. And even if they get down multiple scores early, I think they're still going to try to continue to run it. It would be if they're down multiple scores with 20 minutes left in the game, 17 minutes left in the game, into the fourth quarter, they're probably going to have to abandon the run game, at which point the future of the year is going to be looking great. Because if this game is in Jalen Hurts' hands, then that's a good thing for the Chiefs, which plays right into my next prop. This one's another serious football one. Jalen Hurts under 27.5 attempts. That one's just minus 110. But I don't think there's any chance he gets to 27.5 attempts in any realistic scenario for this game. With that doesn't include the Chiefs being up by like 30 in the second half or in the second quarter. 27.5 just seems like a lot, especially with the way that they're going to try to be avoiding turnovers. Now, the way I could lose that bet is if the game goes to overtime. So how do we protect ourselves? Well, we bet on the game going to overtime at plus 1,200.
There we go.
Plus 1,200, game goes to OT.
Insurance bet there. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Obviously, last year's game did go to overtime. It's not common for Super Bowls to go to overtimes. But these are two very close teams. I as much as I've been on the Chiefs, I do anticipate this being a close game. Overtime is certainly not impossible there. Let's see. What else do I have here? I have Jalen Carter to record a sack at plus 118. I just think we're looking at a top 5 defensive lineman in football who's had 2 weeks to rest. I love Creed Humphrey, the center for the Chiefs, Oklahoma guy. Trey Smith is really good, but they did move Joe Tooney out to left tackle, so they're a little bit depleted on the interior. And Jalen Carter, absolute freak. So, like, true freak of freaks, like Myles Garrett level stud. So Jalen Carter to record 1 sack in the game is a good bet, I believe, especially with if Mahomes does that step up thing, that obviously he steps up right into Jalen Carter. So I have that one there. One that I bet every year, I will continue to bet again this year, is Gatorade color. Gatorade color dumped on the head coach. I am a lemon lime guy through and through. I will always ride for lemon lime. I do believe it is the best Gatorade flavor. People say blue a lot. I don't. I'm a lemon lime guy. It's the original flavor. It's what was made in Florida in the 1970s. Lemon lime guy. I think winners are lemon lime people. So yeah. I'll bet on lemon lime every year. It is plus 230 this year.
Red's too easy too because the Chiefs, if they win,
the Red Sox. Who wants fruit punch? Nobody wants fruit punch.
And lemon lime
is the best Gatorade flavor.
Well, lemon lime is the best flavor, and also if the Eagles win, they probably go lemon lime because it's the closest thing to their colors.
I don't think it matters with the colors. I think it's like, what do you want to
drink?
You
don't think it's like a color?
No,
thing?
I think it's like
you don't like a celebration, like you don't put.
Well, listen, colors? I'm pretty sure. Honestly, I'm pretty sure, and this is gonna ruin the bet for people. I don't care. I ride for lemon lime. I'm pretty sure they have every flavor, and it just matters what one they grab.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true, how I would have to assume it works
because it's subjective.
But if I were dumping, if I'm having the best day of my life, and I'm about to win the Super Bowl, and I'm about to dunk the coach, you'd be goddamn right. I'm getting the lemon lime. It's the best flavor.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, it's the best flavor.
What do you think about this one here? Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts to combine for 7+ pass and rush touchdowns. Do you think there's going to be 7 touchdowns in that game? And if you do, they're going to be involved like that.
Combined 7+. So you need 4 from one of them and 3 from another.
Well, let's say you get 2 rushing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts. Not too crazy.
2, but then 5 from Mahomes?
No, you get 3 passing touchdowns from him, and then you get 2 passing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts or something like that.
That's 5. You need to get to 7+.
No, you get 2 and 2. So 2 rushing touchdowns.
Right.
And 2 passing touchdowns.
Okay, 4.
And then 3 from another guy. That's 7.
3 from who?
So say you get 1 from Jalen Hurts, 2 rushing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts.
Okay, so 3 total touchdowns, Jalen Hurts.
You get 4 passing touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes.
It's a lot of touchdowns, right? If you're betting that, you should bet the over.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a fun bet. It's because you're cheering for touchdowns no matter what. So it's a fun bet. So in the
like
spirit
you said, too, it could be a lot of scoring in this first half too, right?
It's possible, yeah. Like the game could be played. The only thing I'm relatively confident in this game in terms of script is that it'll be close.
Yeah,
it could be close in a shootout. It could be close in a slugfest. But honestly, again, Super Bowl celebration. If you want to maximize the amount of fun, obviously you'd want to cheer for the touchdowns. If you bet the under in the Super Bowl, go fuck yourself.
Absolutely.
You know,
also because it's also I get the bet too. It's a good bet to make, and again, boring as fuck though. Yeah.
What to bet the under?
Bet the under.
I don't even think it's a good bet. There's no value in the line at any point. You tell me you have an edge on the under at this point? No, you don't. The lines are perfect.
Or more so just thinking it's going to be tightly played. So sure, the line is set based on the tight game, but to go.
But if you're the type to bet the under in the Super Bowl, then you're the type who fancies yourself as a guy who does this, and you're doing it because you think you have an edge.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this late in the game, you do not. There's no the algorithms don't have it is there's one football game going on in the world.
Yeah.
We're all focused on it. There's no edge. There's no edge. So bet the under if you want to bet the under. But there's no you have no math reason to do that.
Yeah.
If you're betting the under in the Super Bowl, you're doing it because you're an asshole. There's no math reason.
I agree.
There's no math reason to bet the over either, by the way. It's just fun.
Just fun.
It's just fun. And again,
just a believer in fun.
If you guys remember, the Super Bowl is a celebration. Okay, what else do I have here? I may be almost out, actually. I thought we were going to go back and forth, so I ran through mine quick. Yeah, honestly, that might be. But I don't know. That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 14 plus Tyler's couple.
Yeah,
so that's about 16 or so prop bets. We'll have more for you. We'll put out a full. We'll do the card that we did, all that stuff, and we'll list them all there before Sunday. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're looking at betting in the Super Bowl. Again, the idea of the Super Bowl is want to maximize the amount of fun you can possibly have. And again, I think this is another thing that we should get out there. People are like Super Bowl starts at 6 o'clock. People starts at 6:30. You need to be locked in around 4 o'clock. That's when you gotta start. Listen, I don't party responsibly, whatever your substance is. I think that's when you got to start with that. We got to have like the first whatever we're going for in round 1. And again, like house first bar does make a difference here, but like you need like some sort of food. Like it's only 3 hours or closer to 4 of game time. Mm-hmm. It's the last one we get. We got to stretch this bad boy. Yep. And so I'm looking to get 6.5 hours of fun out of the Super Bowl. So that would be my suggestion. Start early. If you're a national anthem better, then look into that. I didn't want to do that because like I just felt that like being on tier watch during the national anthem was going to be the most fun thing for me.
Yeah. Well, you're still in on the national anthem.
I'm in on the national anthem, but like people bet.
No, I know the length. The length is a big one. I know.
And like how long? There's even there was a bet I saw that the duration of the free. In a home of the free, like how long that's going to last.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one too. It's electric. It's tough. So I'll be on tier watch during the national. But yeah, start the bets early. You want, again, coin tosses. There's bets on Brady. And when's the first time that he'll fuck up and violate one of the NFL rules about like what he's allowed to say and not, and stuff like that. There's bets on the halftime show. Kendrick Lamar. We didn't even talk about that. There's a good chance, a non-zero chance that we're gonna watch a man go on stage and call another man a pedophile in front of the whole world, and that's what's going to happen.
Is there not a line for that? Is there?
Oh yeah,
there's a line for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
On if he's going to play not like us.
Legal issues.
Yeah, so no, I'll find it. Well, there is maybe legal issues around it. That's what makes it a good. That's what makes it a fun bet.
They could put that bet out there if there's legal issues around it.
Well, they can tell you. It's like, hey, do you think he's going to play the song or not? I'll find it. Super Bowl or wagers. I need halftime show.
Got half specials here.
Half specials. What do you got? A half specials?
I don't have any. It's like each team to score one. Like, it's not the same.
It looks like actually they've taken some of the markets down, which is strange. It might be they might go back up later in the week. Yeah, it's actually not here anymore. But there was definitely you could bet on the halftime show. You could always bet on the halftime show. You can bet on opening song, closing song. That'll all be there. So if you want to bet on that, bet on that. But that's an underrated part of the Super Bowl in terms of like Super Bowl as a celebration. Is like right in the middle of it, we might get like a seminal hip hop moment, which would be great. That would be fantastic. So I hope we get that. Yeah, okay. So that does it for the Super Bowl coverage. We will be back with you guys. We'll be back with you guys after the Super Bowl. We'll take you through the whole offseason. We'll talk about it. We'll do all that. So we'll be back next week. But for now, right now, we're going to give you a little taste of what's to come in the offseason. This has been largely a football show. 100% a football show since its inception. Football's about to end, so we're gonna start branching into other sports. This is about the time of year where we've got to start looking into other things to entertain us. And obviously, this is being recorded on February 4th. So a couple days ago, the biggest trade in I think the history of sports. It's hard to say that because people will be like, well, Babe Ruth got traded in 1912 or like whatever. So it's like, all right, like that's hard. I don't know. I wasn't around. Yeah. It's hard for me to say. Sure. In my lifetime, in the last 30 years, this is the biggest trade in sports. Luka Doncic gets traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and some stuff. Doesn't really matter. I just want to throw this to you, Tyler. Where were you when you found out initial thoughts when you found out? Did you think it was fake? Did you think it was real?
I immediately thought it was fake news.
Immediately thought it was fake. That's what everybody thought too.
Because even though I saw it from the Score app or whatever.
How'd you find out? You found it through the Score app?
Yeah, the Score app just gave me an app notification. I kind of looked at it and I was like, this is clickbaity shit. There's no way Doncic got traded like this.
Yeah.
And then you start looking through who he got traded for and what's going on with this. So you're like, what? So what, you think in 2029, you think Anthony Davis is going to carry you until then? As a Mavericks, and then you're gonna get Luka Doncic again,
right?
Like, what are we talking about? Right. I was confused by this.
Well, everybody was, because when Shams put out the tweet, he did it at like 12:30 at night or whatever it was. He immediately followed it up with, "I am not hacked. This is real." Like,
yes,
because immediately everybody was like, "It's fake. It's hack." NBA Sentinel, like all the fake troll accounts, whatever. Everybody thought it was fact. It was not. It was real. And then everybody starts going into the how, right? Immediately starts ripping Dallas. How does this happen? Why are they doing this? What is going on? And the explanations are, they've come out and basically, and this is where it's kind of funny, is they're like, basically they're like, yeah, we traded him because he's fat.
Yeah.
That's basically, and I don't think it's so much like, it is definitely like the conditioning is part of it. I think a lot of it is, first of all, so there's a lot of different things that are going on here. Number one is the Mavs have new owners. It's not Cuban anymore, right? He sold the team at the end of last year. So they have new ownership now. And so they brought this guy in. I want to keep calling him Nico Collins, but that's not his name. Nico Collins is the receiver for the Texans. Yeah. Nico something. Nico Cunningham, something like that.
Okay.
He used to be at Nike. He used to be a big guy at Nike. And he was actually the guy who signed Kobe Bryant to Nike. So that's how he has the relationship with the Lakers. Specifically, he has the relationship with the Lakers GM, Rob Pelinka. Do you know how Rob Pelinka got famous?
No.
He was Kobe Bryant's agent. So the guy who signed Kobe to Nike, hand in hand, worked with Pelinka. They're friends, and that's why. So he took it to Pelinka and said, "I want to trade you Doncic. You can't tell anybody. We have to keep it close, like all that stuff." And then Pelinka's just sitting there like, "Fucking yeah." So that's all. That's all good. The thing I'm reminded of is, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember last year after Game 6, I think, of the finals, Luka fouled out at the end of the game, took one of those dumbass bad fouls that he takes, and then immediately turned over and snapped at the bench and been like, "You better fucking challenge that." Like, he didn't just commit like an obvious blocking foul and like it was their fault. So after that, Brian Windhorst went on ESPN and absolutely ripped Luka apart. Didn't say it, but called him a loser. Said, I'm in the winner's tunnel with the Celtics right now. That's not where Luka is. And if Luka ever wants to get to the winner's side, he needs to stop acting like this and pulling this bullshit. He's out of condition. He yells at the refs too much. He takes too many dumb fouls. Called this man a loser. And then what was interesting was, and Windhorst has said this before, is in the days after that he did that, he went on national television and called this man basically a bitch. Mm-hmm. Nobody from the Mavs checked him on it. Nobody said that's fucked up. You can't say that. No, it's not true. Nobody had their back on it. And what's it become clear now that they've gone through the trade is they were very much sick of his shit. They were sick of him being fat. They were sick of him drinking. Have you seen the clip of after they won the Western Conference Finals last year?
Yeah, he's drinking the beer.
The GM comes, takes the beer out of his hand.
Yeah.
They were sick of that. They were sick of him going back to Slovenia every summer, coming back 20 pounds overweight. They were the bitching at the refs, all that stuff. They hated all that. Ryan Russillo, who is one of the GOATs, one of the best ones doing this right now, had a great line on his podcast this week where he said, "I don't care if he was smoking a fucking cigarette, bringing the ball up the court. You don't trade him." And that's fair. That's a fair.
It's the fairest argument.
That's the fair argument. And the one, there's a few different angles to talk about with this. The one people I feel gutted for and can relate to are the Dallas fans. This is very similar to I'm a Red Sox fan. When the Red Sox traded Mookie Betts. So in 2018, the Red Sox won the World Series, one of the greatest baseball teams of all time. They won 104 games, ran through the playoffs. Cloud 9. We just won champion. We had Mookie Betts in his prime. We had other great young players. We go, this is it. Here we go. The dynasty time. Within 2 years, the ownership decided they didn't want to pay Mookie Betts and they traded him to the Dodgers. And my thought process at that time, it was the first time in my life I ever came really close to quitting on a team that I cheer for. As you don't know, I take the fandom shit very seriously. So I've cheered for one team in each sport for my entire life. I'll never change. But the Red Sox pushed me to the edge because they traded Mookie Betts and then came back to me and go, yeah, but we got all these like young players and picks and stuff for him. I go, great. Are any of them going to be Mookie Betts? Probably not. Probably not, because that's the greatest player I've ever seen. So likely what happened is you just traded the best player I'll ever see play for the Red Sox. If you're a Mavericks fan, you have to be feeling that way. You have to be feeling like, well, there's a good chance, like odds are, that we'll never have a player better than Luka. So you just traded away the greatest player I'll ever see play for my team. And now I'm supposed to just, renew my season tickets next year? I'm supposed to care now? You don't care. Why do I care?
Yeah.
So that's just the worst place to be as a fan, is just thinking that you were going to have... And listen, Luka, I don't like Luka, like, at all, in terms of, like, obviously he's incredible, but just the way, like, all the whining and all that stuff. And he played the Clippers in the playoffs a bunch of times, but, like, I despise...
very annoying player to watch.
Right. And now he's on the Lakers. Yep. So it's like, for if you're not a Mavs fan, now it's great, because it's like, oh, perfect. Now the guy I hate is on the team I hate. This is going to be the easiest dude to hate. All we do is just pray on his downfall now. That's the easiest guy in the world to hate. I didn't like LeBron going to the Lakers because I used to like LeBron.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, I hate this that he's on the Lakers. Now, the LeBron aspect of this is, I think, the most interesting part of it. LeBron says that he didn't know. Rich Paul, his agent, says that he didn't know. I'm inclined to believe them, because I'm pretty sure that if Rich Paul and Clutch had found out that this was going to happen, they would have stopped it, because there was no way they would have let Anthony Davis get traded out of LA. That's a Clutch client. They won't want Anthony Davis going to Dallas and in this weird now he's for forever. No matter what, that's the other thing. People talk crazy about Anthony Davis. People act like Anthony Davis stinks. Yeah. You know, and like, but again, it's tough because it's like, yeah, you're a top 10 player in the NBA, but forever you're going to be the guy who got traded for Luka. Right? The Mavs fans will never see you as anything of like, well, he's not Luka.
Oh, of course.
So
not.
he's fucked now.
Of course not.
His image, all that, he's fucked now. So his agent would have not wanted that to happen, and the fact that LeBron owns the agency that Anthony Davis is tied to, he doesn't want that. LeBron also would not have wanted that, because now, and this is the first time this has been true since 2003, since I was 10 years old, you were 8 years old. LeBron James is not the most important player on his team. He does not have the power anymore. He cannot demand things.
That is big.
They do not
I didn't really think about that.
They don't need him.
Yeah, even besides like his age or whatever, because that's going to happen as you get older. Yeah. Like it's never. I've never seen this before.
Luka is likely the better, like almost certainly the better player today. He will for sure the better. Like that, the franchise said, that's our guy moving forward. That's our new star. We don't need to be held hostage by LeBron anymore. Yeah. And so now what LeBron does is very interesting to me. It's very interesting, because does he come back to the Lakers and just accept that? Maybe he'll spend it. It's LeBron, so he'll spend it as his idea. He'll be like, oh, I wanted to be off the ball more. Because that's the other thing. Is all the numbers will tell you, all the geek guys will tell you, if Luka does not have the ball, he is useless.
Sure.
Like a useless player.
What was the thing, too? Is LeBron going to be able to do that to it? Because he's a high usage guy as well.
LeBron could do anything, right? And that's where Luka will never be the player that LeBron was at his peak, because LeBron at his peak is maybe the greatest player of all time, because there's nothing he can't do on a basketball court, right? So if LeBron decided, okay, I'll just be off the ball and play the floor and set screens, and sure, that'd be great. He'd be amazing at it.
Yep.
Is that what he's going to do? I don't know. Is LeBron going to look at this guy who's fat and drunk all the time and has never won a goddamn thing in his life and is 15 years younger than him? Is he just going to go, okay, yeah, fourth quarter of a playoff game, man, you got it?
I don't think he's ever done it.
Right? Never done it. Never. This is a guy who played with prime Dwayne Wade, and he didn't do that.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade literally stepped aside.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So does LeBron do that? Seems unlikely. And especially, again, I think just the way that Luka carries himself... LeBron carries himself in a very similar way in terms of the bitching to the refs, but nobody's ever said LeBron didn't work hard. The guy's 40 years old, still one of the best players in the league. He very clearly does the things off the court that you need to do to be successful. Of course. Right? So I think he's going to look at Luka and be like, brother, I'm 15 years older than you and work way harder than you. Yeah. So I think that shit's going to go. So it's just going to be very interesting to watch And we'll be able to tell pretty much right away, I think, of the stuff that starts coming out of the Lakers. If you start hearing stuff, especially from Brian Windhorst, he went to the same high school as LeBron. Him and LeBron have known each other for their whole lives. If stuff starts coming out from Windhorst about he's fat again, or he's out partying a lot now, that's the other thing. People are like,
it's LA too.
Well, people are like, oh, this is gonna, and I could see it. Listen, and that's the other, God, so many things to talk about here. When Luka got traded. he lost out on like $150 million because of how the contracts in the NBA work. He could have signed that Supermax thing with the Dallas, but now that he's not on the team that drafted him anymore, he's not eligible for that. So his next extension is going to be like $115 million less than what it was supposed to be. And so if I got fired from my job, I had to take a $115 million pay cut, and when I asked why, they said, because you're fat. That would piss me off. I'd be upset about that. I would want to burn them to the ground. And so that's what everybody thinks. Oh, Luka's going to want to burn these people to the ground. Maybe this is the thing that makes him see the light. Or maybe he still has hundreds of $millions. Yeah, and he lives in LA and he's the biggest star in LA now. Or maybe that. Yeah. You know? So I don't. And so if you start hearing those stories, if you start hearing it's not, I don't know, it's not working out. That is coming from Clutch. That's coming from LeBron and them, and that's them being like, yeah. Fuck you guys. You guys think him? You guys think it's him, not me? Yeah. You think he's not? You think he's better than me now? Okay, great. Well, guess what? Your star player's out doing lines at 3 a.m.
I think like a big question would be then like, it's where do you think LeBron's interest is it more in himself or is it more in getting wins? Championships also help him too. If he gets more so like there is a good chance he will take that side.
And so I think that's what, the next 6 months, and I've heard this said already from other people, the next 6 months are the most important in like Lakers franchise history. Because correct, if they go and win this year and win the title, then yeah, LeBron can just pass it off as his idea. It's like, see, I showed him the way. Exactly. He came here, he wasn't serious. I showed him how to be serious. This is how LeBron does it. If it doesn't work, he is going to blame Doncic. He's going to blame I want to say Kupchak. It's not Kupchak. Pelinka. He's going to blame Bus. The owner. He's going to do all that. And then what I think, what my money would be on, is he opts out of that contract and back to Cleveland because he can win there too. Yeah. And then he can sell that too. This was always the plan. I was always coming home. I was always going to finish in Cleveland. I was always, and again, he could go back to Cleveland and be like, yeah, now I'm big dog again. Yep. Now it's my team again, right? I'm not dealing with fat boy, not slim over there. Yeah. Right? So that's just, to me, that's the most interesting thing is the power play that for the very first, right? Because LeBron, nobody has wielded leverage better than LeBron throughout his career. From the first time he was on the Cavs to the Heat to back to the Cavs, then to the Lakers. At every point, he has made it clear to management that you must do everything I want. You must do everything possible to jeopardize the future. Fuck those picks. Trade every pick. Bonds never cared about draft picks. Do all that to make sure I have the best chance at winning possible. And if you're just bad after I'm gone, then hey, man, that's the way it goes. Yeah. You're just bad after I'm gone. And he has done that excellently. They will teach classes on it, on how he maximizes his leverage right up until 3 days ago when they made that trade and they took all his leverage away from him. And listen, if you sat Pelinka down and you sat Jeannie Buss down and asked them, they'd probably go, no, we don't have any problem with LeBron. The Clutch is great, and we love Rich Paul, and Anthony Davis was one of our guys on that, and it's been fantastic, and we want to make sure stars feel appreciated here. If you give them the truth serum, they go, God damn, it's fun to tell that guy to go fuck himself. Yeah, right. Definitely. All the stuff that LeBron's done over the years of just the arrogance, and he's like, listen, if there's any guy out there who deserves to be arrogant, it's LeBron James.
Absolutely. Yep.
But people are going to get sick of that, and for the first time in his life, he does not have the leverage. This is very interesting to me. So that's I just get fascinated to see how that's going to go. And in the meantime, listen, I hate the Lakers. I hate Doncic. I'm just going to prey on his downfall every day. And again, I'm a type of guy who I love a grudge. I love having someone. I love having enemies. I love having someone to hate. I haven't had a full-blown sports enemy like this, like a true mortal enemy, I think, since A-Rod was on the Yankees.
Well, so, I don't think you've told him, but like you're a Clippers fan too, so this is like the ultimate hatred.
So I already hated Luka because of like the Dallas Clippers series, and then I hate the Lakers because they're the Lakers. And listen, you don't have to be a Clippers fan, you don't have to be a boss. If you're not a Lakers, and the Yankees and the Lakers are the same thing. If you're not from New York, if you're not from LA, and you're a Lakers or a Yankees fan, I have zero respect for you as a person. Like zero. Like none.
Because exactly. What era did you like him? When they were the best? Which era where they were the best did you start liking them?
Well, it's not even that. It's like you have no reason to like them besides the fact that like they've just won before. It would be like if you were like in 1942, if you were walking around St. Catharines, Ontario, being like, I love this Hitler guy. You'd be like, well, yeah, I guess, man. I don't know. I feel like you're kind of a dickhead for that, though. Like, I don't know.
That's a wild comparison.
I think it's exactly the same. I see no difference. What is the problem? It's the evil. Literally, they call them the evil empire. Right. And so if you have no if you're in Germany and you're like, listen, I gotta kind of cheer for him because it's like, what, am I cheer against them? Like, I'm gonna cheer against myself. Yeah. But if you're just a guy who's not affiliated and you're like, I'm rooting for them, it's like, well, why would you do that, you dickhead? Like. What's wrong with you? Like, just like, again, it's like, I just don't want to, I don't necessarily think like, hey, free speech, do whatever you want. I don't want to be associated with that person.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're walking around Toronto, Ontario, and I see Yankee hats, I'm like, yeah, I know who you would have cheered for back in the day, buddy.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. That's how I feel about that. One last thing that's interesting about this is just, so I mentioned that the GM for the Mavs used to be the Nike guy. Everybody he has gone out of his way to acquire has been a Nike guy. So like Kyrie, Anthony Davis, even like drafting Derek Lively, like those are all like big time Nike guys. So I'm pretty sure that this crazy bastard is just out here trying to get like the guys he likes on his team, and he just didn't like Luka.
Yeah,
which is the fact. Again, if this was Cuban, this never would have happened. Cuban famously said that if you make me choose between Luka and my wife, I'll see you at the courthouse. Yeah, like
which again, it just preaches to like how untouchable he should have been.
It's unbelievable.
Like
it's
especially
unbelievable.
That was the big thing I found. Like I obviously knew he was young, but when I saw 25, it kind of reminded me too. It's like, this guy has so much time left.
25 years old, and he has made 5 straight first-team All-NBAs.
Yep.
He has not hit his prime yet, right? Your prime in the NBA is like 27, 28, 29, kind of in there. He is on track. There's no argument to be made against it. On track to be a top 15 player of all time. And they traded him for Anthony Davis, who again,
still great. He's still great, just declining.
Feel bad for Anthony Davis. Well, he's really good. Like he's very
good. Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
He can't, right? In the NBA, and it's different than all other sports, because in the NBA, the thing it's similar to football in like the quarterback thing of like, you need, in order to win an NBA championship, most years, obviously everybody throws it like the Pistons. You need a guy who can be the best player in a championship team, who can create a shot in a playoff game when against, just a one-on-one ISO, like we don't have anything else, give it to him and he's got us. Teams will go years, decades looking for that type of player. The Mavs had one, and they just gave it away. For a guy who is very good, but he is not, like the Mavericks now have a roster where there is one guy on the team who can create a shot for either himself or somebody else, and he's 32 years old, and he's also Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Who knows if that guy's showing up to work tomorrow.
That's very true. Like every single day, you're like, is Kyrie coming?
And like, listen, the NBA kind of needed this, and this is where like the conspiracy theory stuff comes in. And I shut down a lot of like NFL conspiracy theory stuff because I just know a little bit more about like how the sausage is made there. I do like to dive into the NBA conspiracy theories because knowing full well that like I'm sure there's information that would contradict my conspiracy theory, but I don't have that information, so I'm just having fun with my conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And so when you look at like they've been getting smoked in the ratings, like their ratings are in the tank, all-time bad stuff. They've been getting absolutely dominated, just like in the media in terms of like the product stinks. They're talking about shortening the games. They're talking about going to 40-minute quarters so like guys can play more. Then you're looking at like, okay, the Lakers have no path to relevancy after LeBron. LeBron did the LeBron thing where he's like, all the resources go to me. Fuck what you have to do after that. I don't care. They were going to go. Same as when Kobe, right? So like when they tried, right? The Lakers tried to do the Chris Paul deal in 2011, right? It gets vetoed. He ends up on the Clippers. And then so they end up doing plan B, which is Dwight Howard. And then Dwight Howard doesn't resign. He goes to Houston. The Lakers are then in the lottery for the next 6 years. Kobe retires. They're in the lottery. They're terrorized. They do the Lonzo thing, the Kuzma thing, Brandon Ingram, all that. And then they get saved. Well, LeBron shows up. Mm-hmm. LeBron decides I'm going to come there, and now you're relevant again. And they were looking at that same thing, and now they have the ultimate get out of jail free card. They have a top 5 player in the league, top 3, top 2, whatever you want to say, for the next how many ever years, assuming he resigns. And by the way, when it starts getting leaked, they're like, oh, maybe Luka's not signing the extension. Clutch. That's them. That's them fucking with the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's them being like, yeah, just put it out there that he's not going to resign. Doesn't matter. And he might not. He might decide he hates playing for the Lakers, just like Dwight Howard did. But barring that, the Lakers are now set up. So it's like, okay, you had a new ownership group come in. It's very hard to buy these teams now. It's very, very difficult to get that kind of money together. There's only a few people in the world who can do it. And so these new ownership, they're like Vegas people. They're like casino and hotel people. Is it crazy to say that, okay, hey, yeah, you guys get to buy the Mavericks, but guess what? Here's the price for keeping Luka, and here's the price if you trade Luka. I don't know if they took the price lower and then said, yeah, okay, we'll trade Luka to the Lakers, and that way the one of the tentpole organizations has one of the stars. Doesn't seem crazy to me. What's crazier? That, or they just decided he's too fat to play for us anymore?
He's too fat to play for us. It's much crazier.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
so listen, I don't think
yeah.
it's that wild of a conspiracy theory to think that something got done behind the scenes here to where, again, they didn't open up for a bidding war. The GMs are fucking best friends. They hung out. They were going on family vacations together because of like the whole Kobe thing. You know, they were in the Kobe's world. So it's like that's all. Nobody in the league knew Luka was available except for the Lakers. All of a sudden, he's just on the Lakers for like not that. The Lakers talked him out. That was the other thing that got leaked. Is it was supposed to be Anthony Davis and a bunch of picks, and the Lakers were like, "Well, I don't know. You guys said he's fat. Like we got to give up picks now to trade for a fat guy." And then the Mavs are like, "Yeah, okay, fine, just Anthony Davis."
Yeah.
Where the fuck, like? So just a crazy situation that makes the mind spin, but is I think really and like happened to that's the other thing that made me. It's like, oh, this happens right when there's no football. The 1 week where there's no football.
Right when there's no football, and right when exactly because that's when
everyone
starts tuning into the NBA.
The first
right?
Sunday without the NFL. The first Sunday without the NFL in like 6 months or whatever it is, the biggest thing going is Luka because it dropped at like 12:30 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. So all we did all day long was talk Luka. All we've done since then is talk Luka. It's kind of overshadowing. It won't as we move towards the weekend, but like the first few days of this week have been the NBA. So fantastic for the NBA, and now I think it does a bunch of stuff with and opens up. Like if you're like anybody can get traded now. Like I'll believe anything. You know, like I believe they trade LeBron. LeBron has a no trade clause, so like he has to. But there was those rumblings of like Golden State came to them to try to trade for LeBron last year. LeBron shut it down. Does he shut it down again? I don't know. You know, like so now it's just like it's a very the NBA regular season stinks and doesn't matter. Like the games don't matter, so we need this kind of stuff. And so the NBA has done a very good job of upping their relevance now. I don't think it'll translate to people watching the games. Because again,
I mean, honestly, leading up to the Super Bowl, I mean, Lakers played Clippers tonight, so that's going to probably get a lot of TV time.
Yeah,
Dallas
he's not playing. He's not playing.
He's
hurt right now.
Oh, that's right. Of course, he's injured. Yeah,
right. Right. Well, that's the other thing. So that's it. One last thing.
That's why he's so fat. Yeah.
Well, sure. Right. So he's strained his calf 4 times in the last 3 years, or 3 times in the last 4 years. I don't know what it is, but the same calf. He's hurt a bunch of times. Yeah. And yeah, every time it happens, he gets fucking fat because he can't go. He can't like play anymore. Right. Like he's basically the type of guy who does whatever he wants, drinks whatever, blah, 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 and then goes and plays like 38 minutes in an NBA game. And so he's not 350 pounds. He's like 260 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And he just happens to be like that crazy generational level of talent, Allen Iverson-esque, of like, yeah, he can leave the club at 3 a.m. and play at 1 and be better than everybody.
Yeah.
If your calf strains are known as precursors to Achilles injuries. If you have a weak calf, eventually that ends up with you blowing your Achilles. Mm-hmm. So there may be something in the medicals here that like the Mavericks flagged as like, yo, he is not going to age well. Yeah. Like it's going to go bad. And if you look, Iverson is kind of the comp because Iverson fell off a cliff. Like he went from like averaging 26 points a game to like out of the league 2 years later. Like that second to last year in Denver, he was really good and then just bang off the cliff because once the athleticism went and he didn't have the foundation of like taking care of his body and being in great shape and stuff, it was just over. He was also, 6 feet tall. Lucas 6'7". It's a little different, but just saying. So like there may be something there because that's it. It's either Dallas knows something we don't know, either about like the personality or like the body and injury concerns or anything, or it's the worst trade of all time.
Yeah,
it's one of those 2 answers. So that's talking NBA. We'll do more of that as we get through the rest of the season here. So thank you guys for tuning in. That is the episode. We will be back next week. Every week after that. Enjoy the Super Bowl. It is a celebration, so make sure you have fun with it. Check out the prop bets. Like, subscribe, rate us, review us, all that stuff. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you.